This is taking forever. I'm getting the spinning wheels of death. I've been getting a lot of that lately on here.
Oh, I'm fine.
Wow. Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and X, all spinning wheels of death.
They said they're ready on my end.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, seeing spinning wheels of death over here.
Okay, one person on Rumble, one person on YouTube, nobody on Facebook.
So we actually have people watching. Okay, well, this is the Nexus. Welcome. We on my end, we're not streaming at all, and it's not letting me out of the screen. So I'm gonna try and refresh.
Okay. You're muted. You are muted. You are muted. You're still muted. Well, James has a lot to say, apparently. There you go. Now you're not muted anymore.
It's another. There's a whole introduction I've been taught. Okay, well, apparently, welcome to the Nexus, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Every Thursday, a biblical discussion, a hangout. You are invited to join. In fact, right here I'm going to put over here on the in the chat, we're going to put a public note that has the Rumble stream. You'll see Rumble Studio. That's us. All you need is a microphone and some good cheer. And would love to have you here. Also, this week's Torah portion, let's get that in there as well because we'll be digging into that. I think this has become one of my favorite Torah portions because it's so in your face, blatant. You'll never see hell threatened in Judaism because it's a living God, and if he's going to threat anything, he's going to threat your life and things that affect your life and all that good stuff. And Rosalie, can you hear me? Are you there? Are we?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Cylinders finally running. Okay, good. Thank you for tuning in. Well, I bet besides the regulars that tune in, why would Jews rule the world? I made this hangout, and I entitled it. I know what I wanted to say, and then I wanted to go back and find an interview that a pastor did with a rabbi many decades ago here in the States. And it was early on, I dare say, probably before the war. And, you always hear how the Jews rule the world. It's one of these, blame the Jews for everything. The reason why everything sucks in us is because the Jews are in control. Jooz. The Jews are in. You don't know. Nobody knows what a Jew really is. Okay, they know Streisand. They know Mel Brooks. That's about it. Spielberg,
Adam
Sandler, yeah, and he's pretty cool too. But
Gal Gadot for the younger ones.
Yeah. Don't get mad that Jews are in Hollywood. One, it was best said in Mel Brooks's piece, "To Be or Not to Be." Hitler, he loves going to the theater, but he doesn't realize he hates Jews, fags, and gypsies, but he loves going to the theater. What Hitler doesn't realize is that without Jews, fags, and gypsies, there'd be no theater.
Correct.
And Jews are always good at that. They're good at making a show. They're good at making people laugh. They're good at making you cry. They're good at making you, they're good at this. So no wonder they would go to Hollywood where nobody else told them you can't do that. And come on, everybody likes a movie. Everyone likes going to the cinema. Let's not get too upset about that. But no,
Superman, Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman.
Three
Yeah.
Stooges. Yeah,
Yeah. Done too.
who rule? Uh, that's comedy that doesn't get old. I'm sorry, you wouldn't hit a lady with that. Use this; it's bigger. Um, no. Okay, so this interview, and I've gone back and I've tried looking for it. For the life of me, the name of the rabbi, the name of the pastor has gone out of my head. I actually found it on a libertarian page from some schmuck misquoting the rabbi, showing how evil Jews are. And I had to, I just, Google, I just kind of highlighted, did a Google search and found the interview, and I was enthralled by it because this is a very ballsy rabbi for his time. And you think about the Jews ruling the world and how they rule everything. Um, and the case he made was really something. In the Torah, it says that the debtee is slave to the debtor. When you owe a debt, you become their slave. We discussed this in the past about how you can become a slave in Judaism, and one of the ways is to sell yourself out. You clothe me, you shelter me, you take care of my family. I will be your property for so and so long, no more than 7 years. That is a way to become enslaved. It's to keep you from being destitute. It's not
Now,
good.
to correct you,
Hmm.
if the slave doesn't want to leave his spouse and his children, and he really likes working for his master, they go to the doorpost, and the master takes an awl, AWL, and puts a hole in his ear, like an ear and an earring. So all the guys that run around with earrings in their ears, guess what? That's a sign of being a slave. And then they get to go free at the Jubilee.
If they so choose.
Right. Or if they live that long.
I might be spoiling meme of the week, but I had this lined up for today, where a guy just kind of comes up and puts a lock on the guy's ear. Is it too soon for meme of the week? Let's
No.
do the let's get to the meme of the week. We got more memes of the week here. Here's one here. Of course, we got to have just because they really are the same thing.
This is true.
Another meme of the week. Just enjoy. Don't look too deep into it. Okay. All right.
That's funny. I don't care.
Um, Here, just a matter of fact, a Blackfeet chief drawn by a Blackfeet artist, approved by the Blackfeet Nation, is considered offensive to white people. Yes, and
Yeah,
there's a
okay.
movement, and they're already being
Whatever.
sued. What? Oh yeah, I get you here. Bernie, yes, our least favorite Jew. There, you want to talk about a sellout? There you go. That's the man right there. He's just
That's right.
done so much good for everybody, right? Done nothing. Owns 3 houses. Has done
Yeah,
nothing.
he bought the third one after the last election try he had, the money he
Good
had left
job.
over.
Good job, Bozo.
Mhm.
Rosalie, I know you love AOC,
Oh
so I thought
yes.
this would be one for you here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, I know it's a bit old in current events, but there you go.
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney and her ad. Yes, it's Nazi propaganda. And Cracker Barrel, they've changed their logo, and there have been a few suggestions, so I thought I'd share them. Oh, and by the way, when it comes to what I share here, I just want to remind you of rule acquisition number 286. If someone posts a quality meme, you're not only right to acquire it, you are obligated to. So, yes, I harvest
Yes,
memes from
yes, yes,
all of
yes, yes.
y'all. One of the suggestions that we want to bring back, some American values in the Cracker Barrel logo. Um, that's one. Not to be outdone by, of course, who spent
The
more money to get her logo at
cackler
the
barrel,
Cackler
yeah.
Barrel. And Democrats, don't worry, they've got more in store. Uh,
Right, that's a good one too.
there you go. There's our last president, who's Cracker
Yeah.
Barrel there. And finally, our favorite engine. Yes, there she is, right there, guys. I'm not an Indian. I'm an Indian. I'm not a Cracker Barrel. And that's all good and fun. But I think the winner of this week goes to the libertarian contribution in the Fed. Okay. And meme of the week. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? I'm sorry. That's just too good. That's just.
Yep.
Sorry, Eds. I know my friends out there might be seeing this and be very offended. But okay. And the one that started it all. Let's get back to that. Okay. There we go. All right. So, so
They
a
had a good
day.
they had a good one this week where Daniel Radcliffe, who was Harry Potter, he was on one of the British shows, and they had a guy who resembled Robbie Coltrane, who
Okay.
was Hagrid.
Yeah.
That and that's what that reminded me of.
Okay. Um. All right. So, okay. So getting back to the whole slavery issue, a debtor, when you become a slave to your debtor, and to some extent, it's just the way it is. And this was long before the church forced Jews into money, okay, into finance. That's the only thing, the whole thing from I think it was
Jacob.
Paul, or no, Paul, who said the root of all evil is money, or the desire for money. And so, the
Hmm.
the holy church fathers couldn't touch the stuff, so they hired the dirty Jews to do it. Well, when you treat them like shit and you give them all their gold, what do you expect?
Hmm.
Anyway, I'll be quiet there. I don't mean to get so upset about this sort of stuff, but yeah, the Jews are the banks. And what this rabbi was trying to get across, because he said, yeah, we're in all your institutions. I mean, look at the greed. Look at the amount of greed that comes out of the people who run your country. They'd say, they have nothing but greed. So yeah, they're going to become our slaves. They want our money. They're going to become our slaves. That's who we're preying on. Look at your institutions. How many people who are completely depraved in life and would do anything for power, and would be into prostitution, or alcohol, or drugs for that matter. And it's very easy to infiltrate your system. I mean you got a lot of he was using the term flagel. I really don't think the pastor knew what the word meant. Gay. You got a lot of
Hmm.
flagels in power, and they like to flagel. It's easy to their noses are easily turned. They can be made to do whatever. Of course, they're going to infiltrate them. And it made me think of a Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode. It was at the very end where Dax says to Worf, if anybody watches, I'm sure everybody's familiar. Worf is the Klingon. Dax is a half alien, and was saying the Klingon Empire. It's time that it falls. And of course, Worf was very off put. And he says, but no, look at every single aspect of Klingon leadership, their government, their military has been corrupted. Maybe it's time it falls because something like that can't stand. And I took a hard look, and I wish I had the interview. I don't even remember the rabbi's name. If you know who I'm talking about, if you know this conversation, um, please let me know who it is in the comments below. Put it in the chat down here. I'd really like to know the name of the pastor and the rabbi. And it was a very early, old recording, horrible sound quality. It's perfect. And the rabbi just went off. The rabbi just he goes off, and he's like, your system is so corrupted. Of course, we're going to infiltrate it. You know, it's so easy to infiltrate. Why shouldn't we take control of it? And not that I would think, and I think he was being more sarcastic than anything. I think he was really putting the fear of God into him. If your system is so weak that we could infiltrate, what are you griping at us for? I mean, if the Jews are in control, and it's all to build a house for all nations, and they feed off the lowest of humanity to build the house for all nations, to make God's presence known on earth, in Israel, in Jerusalem, and become a strong Israel, is it so bad? I mean, why are we the only country that circumcises its kids outside of Israel? Maybe. I'm just saying. You can gripe about the Federal Reserve taking both sides in a war, but they also had a part in getting saving as many as they could. The banks didn't make Chamberlain and the King of England shake hands with Hitler over Czechoslovakia and Jewish Palestine, restricting all immigration in 39. I don't think the banks are responsible for that. I don't think the banks are responsible for human greed. They certainly make it easy by lending them money.
Well, it wouldn't be our banks to say, but you
Yeah.
know what? There's that big bank in Rome.
Mm-hmm. Lots of old gold from many
Oh
parts of the
man.
world there.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jews don't control the world. It's about their God. But the idea that if you're angry out there, if you're one of these folks who are spazzing about APAC, by the way, APAC costs the average American, we give what, $3.5 billion a year in aid to Israel. Let's just say they don't ever pay us back. That 1 year they skip payment. That's going to cost every American $11.89 or 80 some odd cents roughly. That's what's going to cost you for APAC if they don't pay back what they loan, what they buy. And I'll tell you this: even Netanyahu says that it's time that the aid it's been a partnership worth having. It's actually helped them. If Americans only knew how much we benefit from Israel being our ally and our business partner, but even that should end. It's got to end one time or another. It can't be sustained. Israel has to be her own thing. And they buy weapons from us. They pay good money, and then it takes what's his name, this schmuck right here to decide that, oh, you don't get the weapons you paid for. That's not how it works. So maybe if they have infiltrated, maybe we have it coming. Just think about it. I don't think the Jews are in near as much control as everybody thinks they are. Do they have an influence? Yes, but it's about survival. See, forget that. Especially after the Holocaust, they're not going to pull punches. They shouldn't pull punches. And they're not pulling any punches now in this war, and the sooner it be over, the better. I don't like the idea. Apparently, they want to bring in people from diaspora. We shouldn't be at that point, but maybe we should. Maybe we should. Whatever it takes to get them home, huh? So, yeah, when it comes to Jews ruling the world, Jews don't rule the world, but God is with them. And they've spent their time in spiritual purgatory the past 2,000 years, 1,500 of it solid. When Muslims treat you better than the Christians do, think about that, Christians. They're home. They're coming home. It's the end of it. They're not leaving.
Well, the Muslims are cousins. Just remember that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and they're sick of the Islamic State too, and good for them. It's getting old.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's getting real old, and nobody wants it anymore. It's you know they're building the coolest roller coaster in the world in Dubai. I think it's it's in Saudi Arabia. I'm pretty sure it's Saudi Arabia. Yeah, the fastest, tallest, highest. It's going down a mountain. This thing is amazing, and that's the right. When I think like that's the route that the Saudis would go is to make one of the biggest thrill rides ever constructed on the planet and bring guests in and be hospitable. What a wonderful thing. Dubai is the same way. They got Ferrari Land. What a wonderful thing to bring frivolity, amusement, fun, happy. Maybe that's where we need to get. Maybe that's what's stopping America. We're so black-pilled. We forget there are good things going on right now, man.
Hmm. God said, rejoice and be happy.
Yes, it's a command.
Yes.
And it's hard. Trust me, I know. I know. It's not easy, but be happy. That that joyfulness, when you laugh, every negative vibe in your entire being goes away when you laugh. You know? So, that's why God gave us this guy. Okay? You know? Sometimes it's funny. It's not funny, but you can get bolt cutters, but still. He actually took a picture of it, and it's on the internet. I wouldn't take a picture of that. I wouldn't nobody to see that. No, of course I wouldn't do those things with my ears either. Um, it's not about Jews. It's about their God. It's always about their God. So, um, I've wasted enough everybody's time, don't you think?
If you say so.
I tell you what's not going to waste your time is this week's Parsha, my favorite. I think this might be my favorite Parsha. I think I said this, but I think I was muted at the time. I don't know if I did. If not, hey, I'll hear it again. This is becoming my favorite Parsha because it's so black and white. It's so in your face. God never threatens hell. Ever notice that? There's no denial that there's a hell in Judaism. Christians, it's the whole thing is about hell. If you don't believe what we tell you to believe, you're going to burn forever. No escape. Of course, there's no commandment to believe in Messiah, and there is no eternal damnation. What God threatens you with is now. Why? He's the living God. This is the living God we're talking about, here and now with us. We got on it last week because he said flat out, if you don't do this, I won't make it rain. And your animals will starve and you'll starve. It's as simple as that. He's threatening you with now, because now is what's at stake. So that's why I like this chapter a lot. It's the Parsha Reya. There's a link. Did I do the link yet? Do we have a link in the chapter? Yeah, I think we do in the chat. Let's see. Yes, we do. Okay, we're good. So the Chabad.org. I go there. You're going to notice when you go to Chabad. By the way, folks, we give these links out every week, and in the Orphans of Abraham as well. You'll see that stuff's in bold and stuff's in normal type. The bold is a direct translation of the Hebrew. The not so bold or the not bold is their way of filling in the blanks. It's a commentary in many ways. It is a commentary, but it's there to help you understand, for instance, following other people's deities. People's is in, that's not what he said. He said, I command you today by following other deities whom you did not know. It doesn't say peoples in the text, but they want to put that in there to clarify, to kind of make something clear to you. So sometimes I read them, sometimes I skip right over them. And you could get everything you need without reading the lower the regular font, but we read it anyway. And I just wanted to point that out when you go there. That's why you have bold type and not bold type. It's to differentiate between what comes from the Hebrew
From Hebrew and
yeah.
what it means in English.
Just to make sure.
Because the Hebrew has words that the English don't translate into. So we get
Rabbi
close.
Cass would say, yeah, what's the English translation for matzah? There's no English translation for matzah.
No, cracker.
Yeah, we had enough memes on that one. Don't make me go back. Yeah, cracker, I guess, but you have corn crackers, and that had nothing to do with matzah. So
Tortillas, yay.
tortilla, yeah. What's the English translation for tortilla? It's tortilla. Okay.
Pita.
Pita's good. Yeah, pita. Actually, yeah. We have a gyro mix. If you go to Sam's, you can get this gyro kit, and it comes with the sauce, and it comes with the meat, and like the doner kebab, the big tall. It's actually some of that, and your lettuce and tomatoes and and it's in a kit. It's a big plastic kit and a bunch of pita. It's absolutely wonderful if you ever get a chance to. Love that Mediterranean diet. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 11 verse 26 is where we start out in this week's Parsha. And if I start choking, I might have you take over, okay? That's cool. All right. And if you want to say something, you have something you want to mention, stop me. Don't worry. You're not like Booger, my brother from another mother. He loves to interrupt every 5 words I say. You can interrupt. Just let me know, and I'll stop you. If there's something you want to, instead of waiting to the end or whatever, if something pops in your mind, feel free.
Like I do.
Oh, go ahead. Say what?
Like I do.
Right. And you are welcome to join in too. Click on that Rumble Studio link over here on the chat, because you are my favorite viewer I would love to hear what's going on with you and what's in your mind about these things. John's back on Facebook, but I can't get him to join. He says the Rumble Studio doesn't work on mobile. They have redone the app quite a bit. There's got to be a way it can be worked out. I would go back to StreamYard, but it's about 75% more monies to go back to that. And being with Rumble Studio, we can do multiple platforms. I can get everybody out there on X and YouTube as well. So, John, if you're out there, give us a shout. Give us a shout out. Okay, moving right along here. Parsha Rea, verse 26. Here we go. See, I am setting before you today the formula of the blessing and curse.
I like that. The formula of the that not everybody understands that this is a formula, and that's awesome.
It is because it's a whole. Look at this holistically. Look at it. Just take the whole thing and look at it and look back, and it's okay. 27. The blessing will be intended to motivate you to heed the commandments of God, your God, that I am commanding you today. This is Moses giving his final speech to the Israelites as they cross the Jordan. And the curse will follow if you not heed the commandments of God your God, but turn away from the path that I am commanding you today by following other people's deities whom you did not know. Thus, when God your God will bring you into the land that you are entering in order to possess, you must position those pronouncing the blessings facing Mount Gerizim and those pronouncing the curse facing Mount Aval. Gerizim. Isn't that a neat word? Thing going on here. Aren't these mountains on the other side of the Jordan River, further on from the river in the direction of the sunset, in the land of the Canaanites, who dwell in the plain beyond Gilgal, next to Elonim, the plains of Moreh? For you are crossing the Jordan River in order to enter and take possession of the land that God your God is giving you. You will indeed take possession of the land and settle it. You must safeguard your ability to fulfill all the rules and ordinances that I am setting before you today by constantly studying the Torah's instructions regarding how to perform them. In Judaism, even the 7 laws, we study the laws. We study why. We study, how it's mentioned in Torah.
The Talmud.
Talmud. Ooh, that big spooky. Oh, by the way, Nick Fuentes, the dude I was talking about last week, the real schmuck, turns out he's a virgin and intends to stay that way.
Okay.
Says that all you need to know right there.
Okay.
I'm glad that the right people become fruitful and multiply. Deuteronomy chapter 12. The following are the rules and ordinances that you must safeguard by studying how to perform them in the land that God, your God of your forefathers, is giving you to possess all the days that you live on the earth. See, it's so black and white. Here we go. You must utterly eradicate their deities from all the places where the nations whom you will dispossess worship them, upon the lofty mountains, upon the hills, and under every lush tree. You must demolish their multi-stoned altars, smash their one-stoned pedestals, burn their defiled trees in fire, and cut down the sculptured images of their deities. You must destroy the names of those idols from that place. Idol smashing time. That's not in there, by the way. You must not do likewise to God your God. Rather, you must go only to the place to which God your God will choose from among the territories of all your tribes to attach his name in order to offer up sacrifices. You must seek his presence and come there. You must bring your ascent offerings, your peace offerings, your tithes, the first fruits elevated by your hand, the objects of your sacrificial vows and your sacrificial dedications, and the firstborn of your cattle and flock. You must eat the sacrifices and tithes there before God, your God, and you must rejoice in all your endeavors.
There it is. You must rejoice in all your endeavors. you
you
and your
and your
households.
households, in accordance with how God your God has blessed you. Bada boom! Party on! Be excellent to each other and party
Mhm.
on, dudes. You must not act in the same way. Excuse me. You must not act in the same way we do here today, what each individual deems appropriate, because you have not yet come to the resting place nor to the inheritance that God your God is giving you. You must cross the river Jordan. You must settle in the land that God your God is giving you as an inheritance. He will grant you respite from all your surrounding enemies, and you will dwell securely. Regarding the place to which God your God will choose to attach his name, there you must bring all that I am commanding you, your ascent offerings, your peace offerings, your tithes, the first fruits elevated by your hand, and all the choice objects of your sacrificial vows that you vow to offer up to God. You must rejoice before God, your God, you, your sons, your daughters, your bondmen and your bondwoman, as well as the Levite who is within your cities, for he has no portion or land inheritance with you. When it says bondsman, bondswoman, that we're talking about slaves and slave owners. I'd rather be a slave in Israel than anywhere else, including my own country. Take heed not to offer up your ascent offerings at any site you see fit, but only in the place that God will choose, located in territory belonging to one of your tribes. There you must offer up your ascent offerings, and there you must do all that I am commanding you. This is different for us. According to Moshe Weiner's take, and he's got Talmudic sources, that a non-Jew, a Ben Noach, a ger, um, can offer up to God any place. That's not been restricted to him. Israel, on the other hand, can't do it anywhere else. And once they get to that place, which happens with King David, Solomon, that's where God says, "This is where I rest. This is what's going to happen." But there can be no other place in the land that the Jews can offer up to, except that one place. It's where the Mishkan was, and later revealed to David. So, um, something that separates the Jew from the rest of us. We're still allowed offerings. We can still make an offering. I know a guy who went to Israel and offered up a chicken. I'm not kidding you. And it was fully kosher. He was allowed to do it. Very specific for Israel. However, as much as you desire, you may slaughter and eat meat in any of your cities according to the blessing that God, your God, will have given you. Ritually defiled people and ritually undefiled people may eat thereof together, just as they may eat gazelle and deer together. However, you must not consume the blood. You must spill it on the ground like water.
This is important. All the blood libel shit you hear about how the Jews take the blood from the Christian children or babies and mix it in their matzah and all that. Uh-uh. It says right there, you must not consume the blood. There you go.
This is made clear in Genesis.
Uh-huh.
The soul of there's a soul of the animal and there's a soul of men, and both reside in the blood. What's funny and what's interesting is red blood cells are the only cells in nature known to have no DNA. There's no trace of DNA in red blood cells. White blood cells, marrow, everything else in nature, every other cell has a trace of DNA, not red blood cells. And that's where Torah says the soul resides. Okay. You may not consume within your cities the second tithe of your grain, wine, or oil, or the firstborn of your cattle or flocks, or any of the objects of your sacrificial vows that you may vow, or the objects of your dedications, or the first fruits elevated by your hand. Rather, you, your son, your daughter, your bondman, your bondwoman, and the Levite of your cities may eat these portions and tithes before God your God, i.e., within the place that God your God will choose. You must rejoice before God, your God, in all your endeavors. Be genuinely happy. Before God means you can't hide. You're bare beam and buck naked before God anyway. So to be unabashedly happy, joyful. Take heed not to forsake the Levite in all your days that you dwell upon the land. When God your God expands your boundary, as he has spoken concerning you, and you say, I will eat meat, because you desire to eat meat, you may eat meat according to your every desire. If the place to which God your God chooses to attach his name will be distinct from you, you may slaughter.
Distant menu.
If the place to which God your God chooses to attach his name will be distant from you, you may slaughter of your cattle and flocks that God has given you in accordance with the method that I commanded you to use, and you may eat in your cities according to your every desire. But you may eat it as gazelle and deer are eaten. Ritually defiled people and ritually undefiled people may eat it together. However, be resolute not to consume the blood, for blood is the animal's life force. That it houses the soul. You must not consume the animal's life force together with its flesh. You must not consume it. You must spill it onto the ground like water. You must not consume it in order that it be well for you and your children after you when you do what is proper in the eyes of God. Do you hear how clear he makes that?
Mm-hmm.
You'll put blood in matzah? That's gross. Who wants blood in bread? Silly goyim. Okay. You must not I'm sorry. Silly akum. However, I'm sorry, but once in a while, I got to call it like it is. Akum. You're a bunch of akum. You're Erev Raz, man. You're way out there, man. You don't get it yet. You're kind of there, but man, you're gonna make it hard for everybody, aren't you? All right. However, you must take your consecrated animal offerings that you will have, as well as the animals used to fulfill your sacrificial vows, and come to the place that God will choose. You must offer up your ascent offerings, the meat and the blood, upon the altar of God your God. The blood of your peace offerings must be poured upon the altar of God your God, and afterwards you may eat the flesh. Safeguard all these words that I am commanding you by studying the Torah's instructions regarding how to perform them, and hearken to them, that it may benefit you and your children and children after you forever. When you do what is good in the eyes of God, your God, your God, and prosper in the eyes of human beings. Excuse me. When God your God cuts down the nations inhabiting the land that you are entering in order to dispossess them, and you have dispossessed them and settled in their land, beware lest you imitate them after they have been annihilated from before you, and lest you inquire about their deities, saying, how did these nations serve their deities? I will do likewise. Sounds good to me. No. You must not do this to God, your God, for they performed for their deities every act that God considers an abomination, and therefore hates. They would burn even their sons and daughters in fire to their deities. How sick. Well, we abort them over here, and a bunch of people cheer that on. Child sacrifice. There you go. Yeah. And while I'm at it here, I'll just,
We're not going to be throwing people in any volcanoes anytime soon.
no. No, but you put your children in the fire. There are people who put their children in the fire and be happy with it. Moving right along, Deuteronomy chapter 13. Everything I command you, that is what you must be careful to do. You must neither add to it nor detract from it. If there will arise among you a prophet or dreamer, and he gives you a sign or a marvel, and the sign or the marvel of which he spoke to you takes place, and he says, let us follow other people's deities, which you have not known, and let us worship them, you must not heed the words of that prophet or dreamer, because God, your God, is testing you to ascertain whether you really love God, your God, with all your heart and with all your soul.
Okay, we can think of two that we know of really well.
Yep. One a little more farther afield than the other.
Yeah.
He did miracle. Man, I don't care what you say. JC's miracles don't do squat next to Elisha and Moses. End of story. You want miracles? That's the kind of miracles you get from God. You don't get the he made a paste and healed a blind man. He was cursed. No, he cursed the sages. And the other one didn't even know. He couldn't even read. Couldn't read, wouldn't know Torah if at least Jesus could read and talked about Isaiah. And the other one
Mhm.
couldn't even read, had no freaking clue whether the Torah was true or not. No clue. None. And if you dare question it, we'll kill you. You're on the right path. The Jews are your cousins. You've made a great nation. But we've got another one over here that we've already had to get past. So yours ain't going to work on us either. I say that like I am one. I am a Ger. I'm not a Jew, but still.
Mhm.
Okay. You must follow God, your God. Fear him. Safeguard his commandments. Heed his voice. Worship him and cleave to him. That prophet or dreamer must be put to death because he spoke deceptively about God, your God, who took you out of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of slaves, in order to lead you astray from the way from the way in which God your God commanded you to go. So must you eliminate this evil from your midst. If your brother, the son of your mother, your son, your daughter, the wife who lies in your embrace, or your friend as dear to you as your own soul incites you in secret, saying, Psst, let us go and worship other deities, neither of which you nor your forefathers have known. From among the deities of the people around you, near you or far away from you, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth, you must not love him. You must not hearken to him. You must not pity him. You must not have mercy. You must not cover up for him. Rather, you must kill him. Your hand must be the first against him to put him to death, and afterwards he must die at the hand of all people. I guess that's is that a redundancy we're getting here? Because the next verse, you must pelt him with stones so that he dies, because he sought to lead you astray from God, your God, who took you out of Egypt, out of the house of slaves. So this is what God's been telling the Jewish people for 3,500 years, and you're going to come along and pretend to be Jewish? You're going to go to Israel and try to tell them to end their practice, to end their Judaism, and they don't put you to death? Freaking missionaries. That's how they stomach you. They still allow you there. The Jews are more tolerant than I'd be.
That's
Huh?
and that's one of they're not supposed to be there because if they're there, he said get rid of the idols, get rid of the deities, and Israel's keeping them.
And they're not letting up. The missionaries are far more concentrated in Israel trying to convert all the Jews, and it's not going to end well for them. Don't you
Uh-uh.
have enough problems, Christians? Don't you have enough persecution in the world right now? Don't you have enough? No, now you want to get it from God. Good job. Good job. Here, another meme here. Good job, guys. Appreciate that. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Go try to convert some Jews in the Holy Land. What moron would do that? What moron? Has there ever been anybody else who would come and infiltrate Israel and tell them not to be Israelites and to be like us? Man.
Right.
When I say infiltrate, I mean infiltrate. It's what you do over there, sadly. And and you're supposed to kill. Now you do believe in God. You do believe in their God to some extent. You're not always flashing an idol in front of their face. They know this. But for those of you who go over there and say that you're so different from me, you have to quit what you're doing to become me because of JC or whatever. It's insulting. When God tells them this, it's insulting. I hope you know how insulting it is over there for you.
It's an abomination.
Not our words. All Israel must listen to the case so that they you must pelt him with stones so that he dies because he sought to lead you astray from God, your God who took you out of Egypt, out of the house of slaves. All Israel must listen to the case so that they be afraid to do likewise and so that they never again commit to any evil such as this in your midst. Now let's go burn up our babies. Doesn't that sound great? You really need them. If you hear people in one of your residential cities that God, your God, is giving you saying, men who are unfaithful have gone forth from among you and have led inhabitants of their city astray, saying, let us go and worship other people's deities which you have not known. You must inquire, investigate, and question the witness thoroughly. If it is indeed true, the matter is certain that this abomination has been committed in your midst. You must strike down the inhabitants of that city by the edge of the sword, destroying it along with all that is in it and its animals by the edge of the sword. That reminds me of the Hanukkah story. The Maccabees all sat by. They had swords in their hands, but they sat and they waited. They brought an idol into the temple and they waited. They gathered a bunch of people and they waited. And they all started bowing down and worshiping that idol. And that's when the Maccabees took out their swords and slaughtered every last one of them. You must gather all its spoils into the midst of its open square and completely turn the city and all its spoils in fire in honor of God, your God. It must be a heap of destruction forever, never to be rebuilt.
Hi, Iran.
Man, I see these guys over there, and they're flying an Iranian flag with the lion and the Israeli flag next to them, saying, we're with you, we're with you. Show us, because you're only going to join the rest of the world. You're
Yeah,
Persian.
Gaza's
You're not.
turning into that too. Isn't that a shame?
They've surrounded Gaza City today.
Did they?
Hamas is trapped. It's time to end them, exterminate them, eradicate them. And don't freaking stop until every last one of them are deader than a can of Spam. You want to fight a war, fight a freaking war, Israel. Do it and end it. And then build some paradise because, the world could use some of that. You, you must, nothing that is doomed to destruction may remain in your possession so that God may turn from his fierce wrath and inspire others to treat you with compassion. Be compassionate with you and multiply you as he swore to your forefathers, provided that you hearken to the voice of God, your God, by keeping all his commandments that I am commanding you today, in order that you may do that which is proper in the eyes of God, your God. You can't turn him away. You can't tell him to stop. It's good for you. Have some yourself. Torah's good. It gets you high. You think you get high with Christianity. Man, the buzz you get off of Torah.
Yeah.
Rosalie, would you mind reading a couple of portions?
Sure.
Okay.
We
14.
left off. Huh?
Chapter 14, verse 1.
Okay. You are the children of God, your God. You must neither cut yourselves nor make a bald spot between your eyes for the dead. That's because that's where tefillin goes, and you should not do that. For you are a holy people to God, your God, and God has chosen you out of all the nations upon the earth to be his treasured people. You must not eat any abomination. The following are the land animals that you may eat: work bulls, lambs, kids, deer, gazelle, fallow deer, ibex, addax, bison, and wild sheep, as well as every land animal whose feet are not only particularly cloven, but completely split into two subfeet, and that regurgitates its cud. You may only eat a fetus inside such of an animal, so it can be pregnant when you eat it. But you must not eat of those that regurgitate the cud or have split feet, the cloven one, the camel, the hare, the hyrax, for they regurgitate the cud, but they do not have completely cloven feet. Eating them renders you spiritually defiled. It kills your nephesh. And the pig, because it has cloven feet but does not regurgitate the cud. Eating it renders you spiritually defiled. Not physically, spiritually. You must not eat of their flesh. You must not touch their carcasses. Among all creatures that live in the water, you may eat these. You may eat all that have fins and scales. But you must not eat whatever does not have fins and scales, for eating them renders you spiritually defiled. That means no shrimp, no crab, no lobster, etc., etc. No
No,
shark.
no sea insects.
No, 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 no.
No eel.
No eel.
But
No.
you got salmon and tuna. Mm.
You may eat every bird that does not impart spiritual defilement. These are those from which you must not eat: the griffin vulture, the bearded vulture, the osprey, the various species of vulture, of other species. Yeah. Every type of species of crow, the ostrich, the cuckoo, the gull, the various species of sparrowhawk, the screech owl, the barn owl, the bat, the pelican, the magpie, the cormorant, the stork, and various species of heron, the hoopoe, and the adelph. Every crawling creature that flies renders you spiritually defiled if eaten. They may not be eaten. You may eat only fowl that do not render you spiritually defiled. You must not eat any carcass. You may give it to the resident alien who is in your cities so that he may eat it, or you may sell it to a non Jew, for you are a holy people to God your God. You must also, the big one right here, you must not cook a young animal in its mother's milk. This is where you get why the Jews do not eat milk and meat together. Cheeseburgers, no, not
Mm-mm.
happening.
I mean,
Okay.
if I remember Rabbi Katz was saying, if you have a piece of pastrami and a piece of Swiss cheese falls on it, and they're both cold, you haven't technically broken a biblical commandment.
What?
But yeah, it's because you're not actually, if they're both
You're not
cold.
cooking it. You're not
Yeah.
cooking it.
Um, but when you mix them together, yeah, and that's why the Jews like completely separate. I think it came from Abraham because when he was hosting the three men who came to visit the angels, he separated the dairy meal from the meat meal by having a pause in time and bread. So the Jews, like 6 hours, they will wait to eat meat after eating cheese.
And dessert, yeah.
And yeah, that's what in this, yeah, and like she was, yeah. Okay, I'll
No
shut up now.
ice
Go ahead.
cream for dessert. No no shakes with your meat. Yeah, none of that. Okay, chapter 14, 22. You must tithe all the produce of the seed that the field yields year by year. You must eat this tithe of your grain, wine, and oil, as well as the firstborn of your cattle and your flocks, before God, your God, in the place to which he will choose to attach his name, so that you may learn to revere God, your God, always. If the journey is too long for you are unable to carry your produce that far because the place of which God, your God, will choose to attach his name is too far from you, for God, your God, has blessed you, you may assign it to money. You must bind up the money in your hand and go to the place that God, your God, chooses. You must purchase with the money whatever your soul desires: cattle, flocks, new wine or old wine, or whatever your soul desires, and you must eat it there before God your God, and you must rejoice, you and your household. As for the Levite who resides in your cities, you must not forsake him or forget him, for he has neither any portion of the spoils of war, nor any land inheritance with you. At the end of 3 years, you must take whatever part of the tithe of your crop that's left in that year from the preceding 3 years and place it outside its gates. The Levite, because he has no portion or inheritance with you, the convert, the orphan, and the widow who are in your cities, will come, eat, and be satiated, so that your God will bless you in all the work of your hands that you do.
At the
You,
gates. Yeah.
yep,
And the convert, that's the Gare. That's us. That's me and Rosalie kind of
yep.
people.
You must conduct a release of loans at the end of 7 years. This is the type of release. Every creditor must relinquish whatever money he lent his fellow. He may not exact repayment from his fellow or his brother, for God has proclaimed a release in honor of God. You may exact repayment from a Gentile, but you must relinquish whatever your brother owes you. This is why borrowing, lending right now, cash cash advance, cash and fast is a big no-no. Do not do it. However,
Hmm.
there will be no destitute people among you, inasmuch as God will bless you in the land that God, your God, is giving you to possess as an inheritance, provided that you hearken to the voice of God, your God, by safeguarding all commandments that I am commanding you today, i.e., studying the Torah's instructions and then performing them. For God, your God, has blessed you, as he spoke concerning you. You will lend money to many nations, and you will not borrow money. You will rule over many nations, and they will not rule over you. If there will be among you a destitute person among one of your brothers in your locale, in the land that God, your God, is giving you, you must not harden your heart. You must not close your hand to the destitute, your brother. Rather, you must open your hand for him or lend him enough for his needs, whatever he is lacking. Beware lest there be an unfaithful thought in your heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is approaching, and you begrudge your destitute brother and not give him a loan. For he will cry out to God against you, and it will be accounted as a sin for you. Rather, you must give him a loan. Your heart must not be aggrieved when you give to him. For as soon as you promise to give, God your God will bless you in all your work and all your endeavors on account of this word. Now, this is important. They say rejoice in all this. God turns around every Rosh Hashanah and tells you, lets you know how much money you're going to get for the year. And that is the more money you give to people who need it, the more you're going to get. And the thing is that the money that you have, God gave you that money so you could do this. So just remember that. That's a mitzvah. That is a good thing.
Hmm.
Okay, I want to throw that in there. That's a biggie. Okay. For there will never cease to be a destitute person in the land. Therefore, I command you, saying, you must open your hand to your brother, whether poor or destitute, in your land. If your brother, a Hebrew man, is indentured to you, the slave, or a Hebrew woman, he must serve you 6 years. You must set him free from you in the 7th year. When you send him forth free from you, you must not send him forth empty handed. You must provide him with a gift from your flock, from your threshing floor, or from your vat, with which God, your God, has blessed you. You must recall that you were a slave in Egypt and that God, your God, redeemed you. Therefore, I am commanding you today to do this thing. If he says to you, I will not leave you because he loves you and your household, for it is good with him and you, You must take an awl and put it through his earlobe and into the door, and he will be a bondman to you until the Jubilee year. You must also do the same for your bondwoman. You should not be troubled when you send him away from you free, because for 6 years he served you twice as much as a hired servant. God your God will bless you in all that you do. You must consecrate every firstborn male that is born of your herd or your flock to God your God. You must not work the field with the firstborn of your workbull. You must not shear the firstborn of your flock. You must eat it before God your God within the place that God will choose, you and your household, year by year. If it be blemished, whether it be lame, blind, or suffering any bad blemish, you must not sacrifice it to God your God. You may eat it in your cities, the richly defiled people and the richly undefiled people together, just as the gazelle and the deer. However, you must not consume its blood. You must spill it on the ground like water. 16. Safeguard the month of ripening. You must offer up the Passover offering to God, your God, because God, your God, took you out of Egypt in the month of ripening at night. You must slaughter the Passover sacrifice to God, your God, from the flock, and a peace offering of cattle in the place to which God will choose to attach his name. You must not eat it with leavened bread. For 7 days thereafter you must eat matzos, the bread of affliction, because you went out of Egypt hastily, in order that you remember the day when you went out of Egypt all the days of your life. No leavening agents of yours may be seen throughout your domain for 7 days. None of the meat that you must slaughter in the afternoon of the preceding day may remain overnight until the morning. You must not offer up the Passover offering within any of the other cities that God your God is giving you. Rather, you must slaughter the Passover offering in the place to which God your God will choose to attach his name in the afternoon. You must eat it after the sun sets and burn it in the morning, the anniversary of the appointed time that God fixed for your departure from Egypt.
Hmm.
You must roast the Passover offering and eat it in the place that God your God will choose. You may leave and go home in the morning. You must eat matzahs for 6 days. On the seventh day, there must be a restriction of activity in honor of God your God. You must not do any work on it. You must count 7 weeks for yourself. You must begin the count 7 weeks from the first time the sickle may be put to the standing crop of grain to harvest it. You
This is
must
counting the Omer. When you hear him say count
correct.
the Omer, this is what
Right,
they were commanded to do this.
right. It's 50 days to be on the safe side.
Hmm.
You must observe the festival of Shavuot in order in honor of your God. The extent of your generosity in observing this festival should be in accordance with the abundance with which God your God will have blessed you. You must rejoice before God, your God, you, your son, your daughter, your bondman, bondwoman, the Levite from your city, the convert, the orphan,
Sure.
and the widow who are among you, in the place which God, your God, will choose to attach his name. You must recall that you were a slave in Egypt, and you must safeguard these rules by studying the Torah's instructions regarding how to perform them and do them. You must observe for yourself the festival of Sukkot for 7 days when you gather the produce from your threshing floor in your vat, which is your wine or grape juice. You must rejoice in your festival, you, your son, your daughter, your bondsman, your bondwoman, and the Levite, the convert, the orphan, and the widow who are in your city. You must celebrate the festival in honor of God, your God, for 7 days in the place that God will choose, because God, your God, will bless you in all your produce and in all the work of your hands, and you will be only happy.
Imagine that.
Yep. Every one of your males must appear before God, your God, in the place he will choose 3 times a year on the festival of Matzos, on the festival of Shavuot, and on the festival of Sukkot. He must not appear before God empty handed. Every man must bring as many offerings as he can afford, in accordance with the blessing of God your God that he has given you. And that ends that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Then we get into Haftorah.
We are running late tonight.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I don't
I'll
care.
take Haftorah. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
Um, your favorite stone is in the first verse.
You
Okay.
betcha.
Uh, we are in Yeshayahu, Isaiah, chapter 54. We're going to go through verse 11. We'll hit chapter 55 briefly, and then we'll take a couple parts from Samuel. It'll be Samuel 1, chapter 20, verse 18 and 42. So I can get out the stones because they have a whole different reading schedule too. It depends on your tradition. The Haftorah kind of sometimes depends on tradition, but it is a part of the Hebrew Bible directly pertaining to the Torah portion we just read that is not from the Torah itself. So without further ado, Isaiah chapter 54, verse 11. O poor tempestuous one, who is not consoled, behold, I will set your stones with carbuncle, and I will lay your foundations with sapphires. And I will make your windows of jasper, and your gates of carbuncle stones, and all your border of precious stones. And all your children shall be disciples of the Lord, and your children's peace shall increase. With righteousness shall you be established. Go far away from oppression, for you shall not fear, and from ruin, for it will not come near you. Behold, the one with whom I am not shall fear. Whoever mobilizes against you shall defect to you. Behold, I have created a smith who blows on a charcoal fire and produces a weapon for his work, and I have created a destroyer to destroy. Any weapon whetted against you shall not succeed, and any tongue that contends with you in judgment you shall condemn.
Okay, for anybody who knows that means any weapon formed against you. That's how it used to go. Okay, continue. Condemned.
This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their due reward from me, says the Lord. Chapter 55, verse 1. Ho! All who thirst, go to water, and whoever has no money, go, buy and eat, and go, buy without money and without price, wine and milk. Why should you weigh out money without bread, and your toil without satiety? Satiety?
Satiety.
Satiety. Hearken to me and eat what is good, and your soul shall delight in fatness. Incline your ear and come to me. Hearken, and your soul shall live, and I will make for you an everlasting covenant, the dependable mercies of David. Behold, a witness to nations have I appointed him, a ruler and a commander of nations. Behold, a nation you do not know shall call, and a nation that you did not, and a nation that did not know you shall run to you, for the sake of the Lord your God and for the Holy One of Israel, for he glorified you. It's not so bad when, your rulers are going for God. Everyone fears about the Jewish takeover of everything. Well, according to God, it's going to make the world a better place. I mean, okay, so what? They got banks. Yeah, they might have infiltrated. They might be deeper in things than you know, but this is where it's leading in the end. And to take the carpet out from evildoers and from swine, I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Imagine a world, no war. Just imagine no more war, no disease, no famine, no plague. That's what Hashem is giving you. That's what building a just world is. Let me read a couple more here. We're going to go, and I got one more thing to say on justice. Shemuel 1, it's Samuel chapter 20, verse 18. Then we go to 42. Reads like this. And Jonathan said to him, Tomorrow is the new moon, and you will be remembered, for your seat will be vacant. And Jonathan said to David, Go in peace, and bear in mind that we have a sword, that we have sworn both of us in the name of the Lord, saying, may the Lord be between you and me, and between my descendants and your descendants forever. Um, just real quick here, Donald Trump had a judgment against him for $500 million from New York AG Letitia James. We knew it was BS. They had to make up laws that still don't exist to charge him for things he didn't do. There's no crime. They can't list a crime. He won. Doesn't owe anything. And I hear Alan Dershowitz and a few folks saying we don't want Republicans, conservatives, whatever, the right, MAGA, whatever you want to label these people, to weaponize the justice system. Well, let me just say this. Perversion of justice is a high crime. According to halacha, the perversion of justice is worthy of the death penalty. That's how important justice is, and we are so black-pilled in the States. Another court's going to rule some BS thing and do this. Yeah, we're just like, yeah, and it's Tuesday. Yeah, whatever. We should not be this complacent. The perversion of justice is worthy of death. You are chayav misa when you do so. I don't care if it's for a political coup or whatever. When you start screwing with justice, the best attempt at justice that we do as people on the planet, you pervert that, that's bad, bad, bad. You're doing so much more damage to the whole of society, let alone yourself. We think murder and theft, and you feel you want to put people to death for this and that. It's all about death penalty, but you forget that injustice is worthy of death. Perverse justice, and that's what's happened to the man. I mean, he's up there. He's up there, and you can always judge a man by the quality of his enemies. Same goes for our president right now.
Oh man.
So, build a just world. That's what we're here to do. Study the Sheva Mitzvot. Learn about them. The Sheva Mitzvot Hashem. 7 divine commandments. Learn them. Study them. Contemplate them. Even if you have to take morsels and eat them slowly, consume them. Let it become part of you. We need a just world. And it's going to happen. I just think that it should be as painless as possible for as many people as possible, and that's why we're here. Thank you for tuning in every Thursday night right here. buymeacoffee.com// the Idol Smasher. If you want to lend a buck or two to kind of maybe spruce up the show a little bit. Rosalie, any final words for the fine folks out there on internet?
For those who practice, and have a great weekend for those who don't.
Shabbat shalom. We'll
Yeah,
see you on the
just
flip
remember
side.
because the kiddies are going back to school this week.
Mm.
And then this week's and all that. So watch out. Watch the school buses. May the kids have a great year.
Shabbat shalom, y'all. Be well.
I mean.